I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. We are blessed to have Kacey Morabito on the show today. We are going to talk about everything and anything. But she's got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to talk about what she's doing. But first, I would like to congratulate James O'Brien has become the chief of the Verplank Fire Department.
Oh, wonderful news!
Yeah, so he's been doing it forever. Actually, one of my former CCD students.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had him way back. And he also worked with us at the Paradise.
Oh, how great.
You know,
and now he's the chief?
He's the chief, but he deserves it. He's been doing it for a long time.
That's wonderful.
And I know they're having a wing night. You know, we're taping, today is April 18th, 2016. We don't usually give the date because we'd like to show this show more than once,
right.
But we're going to give the date because on May 14th they're going to have this wing night at the firehouse in Verplank. Yep.
Okay.
So they raise money, and they're supporting the community, which is huge, and that's what this show's all about: getting involved in the community. You know, don't sit back and complain. Do something. You know, get involved. Join the fire department. I know they need people. Be nice to your neighbor.
Yeah, start there.
Yeah, that's where it starts. You know, we all want to save the world, but you know, it's just the simple things that we can do. You know.
The other day before I walked my dogs, I went out without my dogs and a plastic bag, and I picked up all the trash on the road because when I'm out walking my dogs, it annoys me to see somebody's soda bottle or a candy wrapper. So first I went out and picked up all the trash on my dog walk. Threw that away. Then I took my dogs out and I had a happy walk.
Yeah.
I'm not saving the world.
No.
Just doing a little bit for my neighborhood.
Exactly. I did exactly the same thing. I went to the post office. I picked up the garbage. I held the door for a bunch of people coming in. Said good morning. But you know, in Verplank we have to go and get our mail.
Right.
So I could actually be at that post office for
Half
15,
an hour.
yeah, 20 minutes talking.
Yeah.
And now the big thing is, how's your father? Is he okay? And you know, I'm lucky enough that I was able to move in with him, and you know, I get him up in the morning and take care of him. He deserves to. You know, it's funny because I didn't get married, I didn't have kids. So it's almost like this was what, you know, was you know, in the stars for me, you know, to be able to.
The gift is yours to be able to know you're helping your father out in a time when he needs it the most.
For sure.
And,
and he deserves to be in his house, the house that he had built, the house that he raised 10 kids in. Yep. You know, he spent 60 years with his wife, 62 years.
Unbelievable.
And it's a testament of and of the community. You know, how many people, the neighbors, you know, they looked up to my parents for everything they did, you know.
Oh my God. You were like your own little movable city.
Yeah.
Lucy and Jerry and these 10 kids.
For sure.
Going to the marina, swimming every summer, at the restaurant all the time.
The best was when we went out to another restaurant and they'd march in 10 kids and all the waitresses, oh no, we don't want to wait.
I don't want that table.
And then turns out we didn't say a peep, you know.
Oh.
The most
well behaved.
Exactly. There
I
was
remember
no problem.
swimming with you guys at the marina when we were kids growing up. And when your mother got up to leave, she didn't blow a whistle or yell for all the kids to come. She never made a sound. She picked up her chair, she picked up her purse, she started walking towards the car, and everybody followed along. And somebody would take the towel from her, and somebody would take the chair from her. You know, her family was well organized.
Yeah, for sure.
When you have 10 kids, you have to be a well-oiled machine.
Definitely.
But I always admired that. I always admired that.
She was the best. And I was just looking at when she passed, you know, I announced it on Facebook, and all the beautiful things that they said about her, you know, how special she was. And,
well, the Margiotta family, Lucy and Jerry, king and queen of Verplank.
For
you know, the Paradise. It's the heartbeat of our town.
Yeah,
come on.
Definitely.
So.
That's great. But once again, thanks to James for doing such a great job with the fire department.
Wing night, May 14th.
And wing night, yep. And they're going to have a parade this year for the feast, because whenever they get a new chief at the fire department, you have to have
the Fireman's Parade.
A Fireman's Parade. So there will be one this year.
Friday night of the feast, maybe?
Probably Friday night.
The feast this year in Verplank is July 13th through the 17th, Wednesday through Sunday, of course. I started something new at the feast last year.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Miss Italia Mount Carmel. Now you laugh like beauty pageant, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's a heritage pageant.
Okay.
So we ask the young women in the community from 6 to actually 26, come, it's all free, show up on the Wednesday night before the feast starts, and tell us what your heritage means to you.
Yeah.
And 3 ladies were chosen: Little Miss Italia Mount Carmel, Miss Italia Mount Carmel, and Miss Teen Italia Mount Carmel. These 3 women, young ladies, have spent the last year in every parade at so many different community
my
events,
gosh.
sharing the word of their heritage.
Yeah.
And the word that there's a festival in Mount Carmel. You know, the Feast of Mount Carmel is celebrated for 93
Yeah.
summers, the 3rd week in July. In
Crazy.
Verplank, there are little heritage ambassadors.
Nice.
So, if you have a young lady in your life between 6 and 26, we have to find the new court,
Yep.
and that will happen July 13th in Verplank. So
Oh,
call
that's-
me.
That's the best. I love it.
Yeah,
All right, you have a one-woman show.
I do.
What's that about?
It's called Everything I Need to Know I Learned on the Radio.
Okay.
You know me, we grew up in the same small town,
Yes.
right? I didn't have a lot of answers to life. What do you mean? You want answers to life? You hit the jackpot, you're in America, right? Go out and play, kid. But I was a seeker. And I was always looking for answers for life. And I end up on the radio through like a crazy thing, and I'm there 30 years. Looking back now in my career, I look at the rules of radio, and there I found my rules for life.
There you go.
Like one of the first rules I learned in radio is smile.
Mm-hmm.
When you smile, people are more open to hearing,
Oh, for sure.
you know, warmth across the airwaves. And then in radio, it's things like keep moving forward. Never go back and talk about what you did last half hour. Keep moving forward. Move the people along. Know where you're going to go next. Have an exit ramp to get you from whatever, music to traffic to whatever. And I looked at that and I thought, smile. Keep moving forward. Know where you want to go. Plan things out. I found the rules that I was looking for in my career. So now I have this show called Everything I Need to Know I Learned on the Radio. I did it at 12 Grapes the other night. So much fun.
Yeah.
Because I have little musical clips throughout the show that runs about an hour that you get to sing along with. And the music helps tell the story.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun. In 2015, last year, I toured around almost every weekend in a different library. And I've told the story all over the tri-state area.
my
And every time I tell it, it changes. Because I'll also sculpt it for the community that I'm going to be in.
Right.
Like I had spoke at the Shalom Club at Heritage Hills in Somers.
Yeah.
So I sculpted it a little bit, you know, to
Yeah.
bring their culture into the story. So that's what I've been up to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You said you have 2 ebooks. What's that about?
Crazy thing. One weekend last summer, you know, my husband cooks on the
Yes.
side. He's chefing some wedding or something. He was out all weekend. I sat at the computer in my pajamas, and this story like came out of me. I couldn't stop it. I just typed and typed and typed, and then I'm looking around on the internet, and Kindle has this self-publishing button. Honestly, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
right? Oh, bam, publish. And then I had an ebook, like, and people are buying it. And that's based on, that first ebook is based on my Reiki practice.
Okay.
Because that's another thing I got into.
There we got a segue.
All
Let's go.
right. Reiki is, I know you know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I have an energy field. Everything has an energy field. This chair has an energy field. Like a plant leans towards the sun, we have energy through, in, and around us. I've experienced Reiki, and it's helped me relax, be peaceful, let things go. And now I learned how to do it so I can work on other people. Want to feel it?
Yes.
Put your hand out.
Okay.
Do you feel it?
A little bit, you know.
Does it feel tingly and warm?
Mm-hmm.
That's my energy field, your energy field.
Yeah.
Ooh. You're very tingly. You got good energy, brother.
I do. Well, thank you.
So Reiki is this practice
Okay.
that
I
that
do feel that.
yeah. Oh gosh, you're hot. That that works in your energy field, and it really think of Charlie Brown and Peanuts, and who was the one that always had the dust around him? Pigpen.
Yep.
Right? People carry stuff in their energy field. When you have Reiki, you can clear it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
So
it
it-
makes you feel better. So,
Yeah.
so one book, the first book I wrote was based on my Reiki practice.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff I learned in Reiki. That was the story that poured out of me. And then another book was like the sentimental. You know, people are always asking me, how did you find true love?
Yeah.
So I wrote, it's like a booklet. They're not like
No.
300 pages. They're
Right.
little booklets, little
Yeah.
stories. I don't know.
That's pretty
Happened.
cool.
That happened.
For sure. Now, I was reading an article, the paper, oh my gosh. You know, you always find the good news, it's like page 14 and it's only like this big and, you know, a dog pushed their owner out of the way of an oncoming
Right.
car.
Right,
and,
right.
Oh, you know, meanwhile, that should be the cover of the news. You
Yeah,
know,
but that doesn't
something-
sell newspapers.
No, exactly. So this Marlo Thomas, who's been around a long time,
Oh, yeah.
she's very concerned about kids, you know, and that's my biggest thing. I love kids. I was raised in a big family,
Right.
and you know, probably had one of the best childhoods ever. You
Mm-hmm,
know, and so I have a lot of empathy towards children.
Right.
I wish they could all, you know,
Have
have
that kind of childhood.
yeah. So she's writing about how kids are being scared by the news now, and it's
Yeah.
you know, a friend of hers, her little girl came running into the room, was only 10 years old, screaming that she was being, you know, chased down by ISIS. You know,
Yeah.
and it's just a nightmare.
You know, we didn't have cell phones
You know.
growing up. We knew where everybody was, where the bikes were piled in front of that house. That's where you went. You know, there was always a ball game in the field in
Yeah.
between your house
Yeah.
and mine. Kids today don't have that luxury
No.
of peace of mind. They're plugged in all the time
Yeah.
with their earbuds.
Yeah.
They've seen things on the internet
Well,
you and
forget
I
it.
don't even
No.
know where to look for,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And they don't, in my opinion, kids are kids.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grown-up stuff out there that they
Yeah.
don't have the sensibility or the life experience to deal with it. So yeah, like little kids could be really afraid of stuff that they find on the internet, and how do you protect them from it?
Yeah. I know.
I don't know.
It's tough raising kids today.
Raising
is,
kids today, hardest job in the world, I would
Gotta
think.
be. It's like it's now. It's we thought it was full time back then. You know, like you said, at least you can throw them outside and they'll be with other kids and they're playing ball and they're riding their bike and they're doing kid stuff. It's nothing,
Yeah.
you know, scary. You know,
I know so many parents today that don't have televisions.
that's the way to go.
They don't have televisions.
Well,
You know,
I was
so-
in my house 10 years and I didn't have cable. They came knocking on my door. They says, you know, you're in your house 10 years, you don't have cable.
I
said,
hope you
"Well,
had the local cable access station because
I would-
everyone needs that. Victor.
I know, but so I said, well, can I get the Golf Channel?
Yeah,
you know,
that's
they
all you
said,
wanted.
Yeah, they said, no, sorry, but
Do you play golf?
yes, I'm hooked, bad,
Where do you play?
everywhere. But Garrison, you know, and,
Garrison scares the pants off
yeah,
me.
well,
I
that's
can't
why
do
I like
Garrison.
it because if I can play there, I can play anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so but we were talking about
Yes.
Jordan Spieth and the Masters,
Oh, God, my heart broke for that kid.
and the kid that did win it, not a kid, he's 27, I
Mm-hmm,
think 26 or 27, didn't think he was playing. So
Yeah.
when he went, he had nothing to lose.
I know, I love it.
And
I
that
I was
energy-
so happy for him, the guy that won. What was his name? Daniel
Will it?
Willett? Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of him, but you know why? I had my eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
He had a pug cover on his driver.
Oh, yeah, they all-
I was like to my husband, is that a pug on his? I got that golf cover. I got the same one.
Right.
So I had my eye on him. And then I learned his story that he wasn't even supposed to be at
Mm-hmm.
the Masters, but his wife had the baby early, so he flew over from England, and he's got nothing to lose. He's happy as a lark.
right.
You know,
No
and
pressure.
then poor Jordan Spieth had all the
Yeah.
pressure in the world. He's a young guy. He already won. Second day, he's 5 strokes ahead. It's his to lose.
Yeah.
That's pressure. But that's
Big time.
life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why through my Reiki and other things that I
Mm-hmm.
do, I try to stay on the easy breezy side.
Yeah.
Like not get
And it's
too
funny
much.
because once you get, you know, worked up, it's hard to get back down.
That's why you need
know?
to come to me for Reiki.
I will.
I'll hook you right up.
Yeah, I do that in the morning sometimes. Like you said, if everybody would just meditate in the morning, just relax, you know.
3 minutes,
Yeah,
2 minutes.
see the day,
Yeah.
experience, you know, all right, what's going to happen that might frazzle me, and how am I going to handle it?
Right.
You know, that's what meditation's all about.
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
you know, having foresight into what, you know, and just.
It doesn't have
take
to
the
be
deep breath.
fancy.
No.
Like, since I was a kid, Nobody's been able to talk to me in the morning. I need quiet. My father used to laugh at me so much. Oh, there's Kacey in her quiet zone.
Yeah.
Something about me, I need peace and quiet in the morning because I'm
See that?
thinking, it's probably because I've always been in radio. Because I'm always thinking the show's
what's
coming
it
up.
gonna- yeah.
And so I go in this peaceful zone and I'm planning out my day because I have to. My day starts at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But I can't start with like the radio blaring and people talking. I got to ease my way into the day.
Sure, because there's so much going on
Yeah.
that you have to be ready for.
Yeah.
Now you have a health and happiness show.
I do. I think mostly everyone knows about my morning radio show, Mike and Kacey, WHUD. Been doing it for 16 years. That's great.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's great. It's a gift to me to be involved in the community. That's a gift to me. But a couple of years back, I went to the bosses and I said, there's other stuff I want to talk about that doesn't fit into the morning show. Like Reiki, like meditation, like nutrition, like, just living well. And my boss says, that's a great idea. Why don't you have a show like that? And I'm like, oh God, I wish I'd thought of it sooner, because I complained for years, like, I wish I had a show. So lesson number 1, tell people what you want.
Yeah, right.
So I started this health and, right? I started this health and happiness show. It's gotten really popular. It's Sunday mornings at 6:30, but people are actually up that early.
Yeah.
But other people hear it all around the world on the internet.
Okay,
It's on
so we
SoundCloud,
can-
it's on iTunes.
All right, good.
And I have guests that talk about all kinds of things, like Reiki and energy healing. This last week I had a Pulitzer Prize nominee writer, young guy. His great-great-great-great-aunt or something like this walked the Appalachian Trail in the 50s.
Wow.
I think it was like
Yeah, that goes right
1957,
through-
right through here,
Yeah.
on her own.
Phew.
Just walked out of her house one day. She had a really tough life. She had 11 kids.
Oh, God.
And not a great home life. And when the kids were of a certain age, she told them, I'm going for a walk, and she literally walked over 2,000 miles. So he wrote this great book called Grandma Gatewood's Walk, and what she ended up doing was she called attention to the fact that the Appalachian Trail wasn't in great shape. The trail wasn't groomed very well.
Cool.
And as she walked all along, she got all this media attention, which she never wanted.
Yeah.
She didn't have a tent. She didn't have a backpack. She just carried stuff in like a laundry bag. She was this real character. Authors who find stories like that, who tell the story so well, and I get to have them on the air,
Right.
It's inspiration. Let somebody listen to this story and maybe see, well, gosh, I can't walk the Appalachian Trail, but
Yeah.
I am inspired now to lace up my sneakers and go for a hike or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that.
Definitely.
That's my Sunday show.
Now we're talking about the news. Now we're
Yeah.
in the heat of this, the debate. I can't even watch it.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it's just, life is about control, what you can control and what you can't control, and knowing the
Yeah.
difference. I think there's a prayer, God.
Yeah, there is.
Grant me the serenity
That
to
one.
accept the things that I cannot change.
Yeah.
And the courage to change the thing I can. I think that's a big part of life, having that courage to make the changes in your life,
Yeah.
to do the things that are going to make you happy,
Right.
And what would you do if you were president?
We live in a culture of catastrophe. And even if things aren't that bad, it's so sad to see grown men and women catastrophizing things. Catastrophizing things to what? To what end? So their team wins?
Yeah.
Like this whole football game mentality that is politics is so ugly. I want my team to win no matter what because it's my team, whether or not the ideas are for the good of the people. I would never be president because I couldn't ever be that. I could not be political. I could not.
Yeah.
I would get my Italian up and the finger will.
Yeah, I know.
I don't tolerate.
Yeah.
I don't tolerate incivility well.
Yeah.
And I tend just to say my piece and walk away. So I would never be president. I'm inelectable. Is that a word? But the change I'd like to see in the world is just kindness.
Yeah.
Just, like you said before, caring for your neighbor. And what I've been able to do with my job is turn it into my ministry. So every opportunity I get, to volunteer wherever I can help. You know, I have the luxury of sitting behind a microphone powered by 50,000 watts. So if I can talk about what the Verplank Firehouse is doing, or what any firehouse or Girl Scout troop or community organization is doing within the 5 counties, Westchester and the Hudson Valley, I do it. I do it. And I'm out in the community doing as much as I can if I feel I can really help, because I think to change the world, it's grassroots, baby.
Yeah.
You got to just start taking care of your neighbors. I so admire my next door neighbor. Her name is Deirdre Knapp. Her daughter's already out of college, but this woman is still doing all the Girl Scouts. She's on the her fire department, ladies auxiliary. She's running the bingo. She loves her community. She's in a constant state of giving. She's always, running here and there, but she's a happy lady. A happy lady. And I try to emulate people like that. Because when you give happiness, you get it back.
Exactly. You get what you give. That's the bottom line.
It's like they're the same. Getting and giving are actually the same.
Yeah. I'm people like me because I'm a good listener. I like to hear what people like to say, and I don't ask too many questions because, if people want to tell me something, they'll tell me. And then I'll talk to somebody else and say, well, why didn't you ask them this? Why didn't you? I said, I don't like to push people.
You let it come to you.
Yeah, if they want to tell me something, they'll tell me. If they, it's not my business. But if they want to make it my business, if they feel like they need to tell me something, I'm there for them, And then I don't need to tell other people, what they said, because it's between me and them, you know. And that's number one, what makes a good friend, is someone that you could talk to without having to hear it again from somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
But
I so admire that trait.
But being president, I think, I had a show years ago. It was the career show. And my biggest thing was, that people don't know what they want to do. And then finally, when they get stuck in a job that they don't like, and now they're stuck, I would, if I was president, would try to help people who are already stuck in jobs, call it maybe the job swap, and get people to, well, if you want to switch jobs, here's a guy that wants your job. Why don't you try to,
like wife swap,
well,
but different.
It'd be job swap. So, of course, they'd have to, learn the job. They'd have to get some education.
But give people a chance to discover.
Yeah, something different. Always the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, and people don't know. Oh well, there's a lot of.
And no matter how much you love your job, work is always work.
Exactly.
That's why they call it work. The people who say, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah, you kind of will. You kind of will.
For sure.
You're working.
Yeah.
Even if it's fun.
Yeah.
You're working. I spend all my day just doing what other people tell me to do.
Exactly.
It's not.
That's part of the job.
That's part of the job.
Now, I just saw that you did something with the bingo night or something.
Gosh.
What was that about?
The neighbor, my next door neighbor,
Okay.
Deirdre Knapp, who's always doing good things for the community, she says, we need to get more people involved in our bingo for the Ladies Auxiliary at the Highlands, because I live up in Cold Spring.
Yeah.
Well, you call bingo. Now, when the lady who always has time for everyone asks you to do something,
I know.
You say yes.
Yeah.
So I called bingo for her. It was the most stressful night of my life. Oh my God, bingo is oddly stressful.
Yeah.
Because you need to keep the pace up, right? But then people are saying, I can't hear you, or you need to go faster, or you need to go slower, and then they're screaming bingo, but they don't really have bingo, and oh my God. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
Serious bingo players. But I enjoyed, the learning experience.
No.
Every time I'm asked to do something in the community, that's what it is.
I know.
It's a learning experience. Yeah.
So back to the article, she was talking about there's not enough programming for this group they call tweens.
The tweens, yeah, in between childhood and
Yeah.
teenage years or adulthood.
Yeah. And, right away I want to say, well, why don't you force these kids to read books? Why do they have to be
spoken from the guy who hasn't had kids?
Yeah,
Look,
I know.
It's a great idea. But you're like me. You have other people's kids.
Yeah,
Like
I
we
do.
both taught CCD for how many years?
Yeah.
I'm still always mentoring. There's always a kid in my life somewhere. I just had a girl sit in with the studio today. You know, I've done the WISE program many times. You and I both are firm believers in empowering children.
Sure.
Empowering children. And for tweens today, I don't think there's an easy answer. It's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Because we can't control what they see and do and pick up on the internet. And even if they don't have a smartphone, one of their friends does.
Oh, for sure. And they're right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love these programs where kids go out, like to do the teen challenge or the eco challenge, and they're out in a canoe for a week with no devices. But it's hard for me to unplug.
Yeah.
You know, I'll have
well,
days.
we can't. It's impossible now.
I'll have days, afternoons,
Yeah.
you know, where I'll pick a day and just turn the phone off and say that's it. Like I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna have a diet, take a break, a fast from all that's out there.
Yeah.
The computer, the phone, the television. Not that I'm a big TV watcher.
Yeah.
I enjoy the radio though.
So you're still involved with the Mount Carmel Society.
Yes.
How can people join the club?
OLMCV.org.
Okay.
Our Lady Mount Carmel Society Verplank.
Yep.
.org. They have a wonderful website.
Mm-hmm.
I developed that website.
Oh,
by the
yeah,
way.
you were saying. How did you do that?
It's really easy. I went to GoDaddy,
Okay.
and they had this thing called Website Tonight, and I was amazed that I was
That's
able
awesome.
to do it. But
Well, they're definitely making the computer easier.
yes,
you
for
know.
people like us.
Yeah.
So OLMCV.org and everything that the Mount Carmel Society does is up there. They just had a great casino night and a golf outing coming up, and the feast, of course, the third weekend in July. And if anybody wants to get involved with the Miss Italia Mount Carmel pageant, they can go there too.
Oh, that's
OLMCV.org.
And we'll end on a religious note, but not so much religion, but how important is your faith to you?
Oh God.
Oh God, that's right.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's right there behind my eyes every minute.
Yeah.
Except when I'm frustrated or angry. But and then you come back to it. But it's everything to me.
No,
My life is my faith.
definitely.
We're on this planet. That's spinning. We're growing. We're living. We're breathing.
They're just saying how they found another black hole out, and I mean, we don't realize how small we are. But
yes.
you know, a minute of our life could be the most, like you said, catastrophic. You know, like a star bursting. You know, like at the end of the world. And how does that happen? That we're just, you know, if you looked at us from space, you wouldn't even see us, you know.
My belief is we are spiritual creatures. We're spiritual beings. We look like solid skin and bones. We're energy. We're spiritual people in a human body to learn that loving each other is all there is.
Perfect. That's the way to end it. So thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you, my love.
on. That
Anytime.
was a perfect show. And go to the feast.
And go to Paradise and get some pizza.
Go to the now I'm making the cream puffs, so
the cream
you gotta
puffs.
try some cream puffs.
Oh, the cream puffs are the best.
No, for sure.
A staple of my childhood. Thank you for that. Thank you for continuing the tradition.
Appreciate it. Thanks. That's what life's all about, carrying traditions. So thanks for watching. This is the community show. And if you can, volunteer, get involved.
Yeah.
Don't complain about the problems. Do something about it. Thank you.